and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kursa Muslim and today the video is very special. It has a special way to my heart because it is about my mother. It's related to her. For a little background about this video, I want to say that for the past couple of years I and my mom have been living miles apart in different countries outside the borders. So all this period of time we missed her very much. Off and on she would pay us visits, she would come see us. And then fast forward to this past 5 months when she finally moved with us and to United States and started living with us. This has to be the most glamorous part of our life because after living apart from my mother, getting her back was just fabulous. Since the pleasure of love lasts but a few moments, on a very starry night we got the fancy news, or not so fancy, that my mom has to go back to Pakistan. And it was all within 2 days, so all we were left with our mom was 24 hours. Obviously I called in everywhere and just to spend some hourglass moments with her. Starting from the gentleman PCR test and booking the flights, there was so much to be done. We took the next morning to digest the big news, and I remember explaining Punjabi songs to her just so we can have a little normal conversation because every uttering word was literally wetting my eyes. And that was the moment it actually started hitting us that this is the time our mom is leaving. At the end of the day, we were left with no other option just to pack. And we started the ugly process of packing by buying some gift for her friends who were unwillingly stealing our mom from us. The next morning was supposed to be her last day with her family, and so early morning we left for the gentleman PCR test. All those appointments, waiting periods, lines cost us almost a day, and we were back by the end of when we were back it was already turning into night. I remember ordering some takeaway food and she was just looking at food and wondering, like, my kids are left with this kind of food, the takeaways, and when I could cook them the best food in the world. Obviously, mom, the food you cook has to be the bestest in the world, and we're gonna miss this so much, but it is what it is. And then it was time to book the flight for Pakistan. Here we got God's favorite cookie because the next available flight was not until the next day evening, so we got a little bit more time with our mom. I remember just going through the flights and finding the clothes, the one that was the very next one, and I was just so glad that it is not something in few hours because then we would probably have to leave at the moment. So the very next day we left early in the morning. Next morning we left for the airport, and like the brown dad inside of me insisting on getting to the airport 4 hours before the flight. It was crazy for my family, but I insisted on it, so they had no option almost.
डरते कभी थोड़ा रुक के जाता है। हाँ, उसको पता पसंद होगा ऐसे रुकना।
The huge baggage lines and obviously the fast track requirements. We got done with almost everything an hour before the flight, which was a pretty fine time, and then they came to pick my mom. Taking all those airport tears, she left off to the Pakistan. For the last words of this video, I'm not left with much, but I do want to say that I do not get any second thought before calling my mom a Wonder Woman, because imagine leaving 3 chunks of your hearts behind and moving to a whole different country and not shedding a single tear because she knew that if she cried it would make us even more cry. So she kept everything to herself, and being the Iron Lady She did this all and just left for Pakistan. Obviously, so I was vlogging, I was like writing everything for my video and just thinking about all those moments. I started crying out of nowhere. Really miss our mom, and you should be really grateful if you get to live with your mom, because it's such a blessing.